Our next inductee set a standard that will likely never be matched with his participation in 5 sports at Trinity College and his excellence in the game of squash. Ladies and gentlemen, Hobie Porter.
From the class of 1976 in the sport of men's soccer, men's squash, men's swimming and diving, men's tennis, and men's track and field, Hobie Porter.
Soccer in the fall, squash in the winter, track and field in the spring. He also played tennis in the spring. He played doubles with Jim Solomon. He also dove for the swimming team. He left the squash practice to go to the swimming pool and do the diving for the competition there. I just wanted to feel like I was back on the squash court with Hobie Porter. I got a wooden racket. It's a Bancroft. We actually played with the York wooden rackets. And that was the first undefeated season that Trinity Squash had ever had. 16-0, including our first ever wins over Dartmouth and Yale. Hobie won the George Sheldon McCook Trophy, the college's top athletic award presented each year to the senior who has exhibited outstanding courage, dedication, and ability as a participant in Trinity athletics. Hobie also won the Middleton Trophy, awarded to the Trinity senior who has shown the greatest desire to participate in and dedicate himself to athletics. Hobie's wife, Pam, told me that he was cut from basketball during middle school, which is why he took up squash. Hobie is just very humble, and that's something that I really appreciate about Hobie. His best sport really was squash. After Trinity, Hobie was a ranked doubles player. In fact, he finished 4th in the country in 1982. Currently, he also plays golf, he plays paddle tennis, padel, biking, he goes hiking, skiing, snowshoeing, and one of his wife Pam's favorite sports, which is horseback riding on the surf. I'm so proud of Hobie for being inducted into the Trinity Hall of Fame. The fun thing is that Hobie is remembered half a century later.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hobie Porter.
It's not easy coming up after all these other people. I mean, this is such an impressive group, but I'll try not to be too long, and thanks all for coming. It's a pretty incredible thrill for me, and it's hard to believe that I'm being recognized and honored for simply doing the things that I loved. Let me start with some well-deserved thank yous. President Berger Sweeney, Drew, Lindsay, and anybody else who put this together, thank you very much. I know how hard that kind of thing can be. To Charlie Stewart, who understand did the heavy lifting on my nomination and helped create the wonderful video introduction. Thank you to my teammate, squash co-captain, usher at our wedding, and great friend. To Jim Solomon, roommate, teammate, soccer co-captain, and among the class of 76's best communicators and spirit builders, thanks for your support. Love you guys. And to my family, 4 generations. My parents who introduced me to so many sports and made everything possible. Wish you were here. They both passed in the late teens. Banny, my sister, thank you for putting up with all your baby brother's silly hobbies. Wife Pam, we're about to celebrate 40 years of marriage. Very exciting. And children, Molly, Becky, Andrew, and Andrew's wife Margot. And finally, granddaughter Josephine, who you may have seen here earlier tonight. She is very receptive to my coaching her as she learns to crawl. Thank you again, everyone. 1972 to 1976 was an interesting time to be a Trinity student athlete. We were a little too young to have gone to Woodstock, but we sure had heard about it. The war in Vietnam was still going on. Connecticut had lowered the drinking age to 18. Coeducation was relatively new to campus. For some of us, the switch from living at home, attending a single-sex school with rules on hair length, wearing a necktie daily, to a very unsupervised dorm, co-ed bathrooms, school-sponsored beer parties, tempting fraternities, and very intentional classmates looking to challenge tradition and authority, it was eye-opening. What was special and great was developing wonderful friendships with such a diverse group of people who accepted me as I was, and I accepted them without judging each other's activities, preferences, or behaviors. I'm pretty sure that my passion for sports kept me out of too much trouble, certainly provided a peer group of incredible people on both the men's and women's teams, and allowed me to survive at first and eventually to thrive. Another huge plus was traveling with teammates to other schools, swapping stories, celebrating wins, and surviving losses, and seeing other campuses. As noted, I played soccer, squash, some tennis, ran the hurdles on the track, and 1 year dove for the Trinity swim team. I also took every opportunity I could to play intramural volleyball, basketball, and softball for AD. I don't think wiffle ball, frisbee, or beer pong should count, but I did them too. Believe it or not, I very rarely missed any classes, although I was never offered a frequent flyer pass at the library. I majored in Spanish and took courses in education, economics, English, psychology, art history, and religion, among other things. Ironically, I did not take enough PE classes to have them count toward graduation. I recall our accounting class concluded with an exam that was 3 essays, no numbers. It was truly a liberal arts education. Great preparation for my later years at the Wharton School. My school had required that we play a sport every season, beginning in 4th grade, so it was totally built in that all afternoons were for athletics. And several times fate stepped in to influence my decisions. Soccer was probably my favorite sport. Initially, I played 70 and 80-pound football. Thanks to my father's early teaching, I could throw and catch pretty well, but I was always one of the youngest and smallest due to a November birthday. I only started soccer after making a catch on the gridiron and getting clobbered by a kid who I believe started shaving in 6th grade. I was told by a doctor to switch sports. With our undefeated team in 1976, and later the national amateur competitions I played in, squash is where I enjoyed some of my greatest moments. But I might never have picked up the racket unless in 7th grade, when I was showing some promise as a swimmer and diver, I got an ear infection, which I didn't tell anybody about. I subsequently had a ruptured eardrum, and again was told by the doctor, no more pool for you. So my lifelong love and addiction to squash began. So I have a concussion and a ruptured eardrum to thank for getting me into the sports that suited me best. I don't think anybody needs to hear me ramble on too much longer, so let me finish with something a little bit different. I got a letter in '72. Trinity was saying, "We want you." A similar message came from Uncle Sam, but Hartford won out over Vietnam. I'd spent 13 years at Haverford School. All boys, wear a tie, don't break a rule. Also required every season a sport. Take the field, hit the pool, or get on the court. What a joy it was to finish each day training, competing, and learning to play. My father had taught me to run, throw and catch, and other skills needed for game, meet, or match. The hard part each season, choosing which sport to do. I so loved them all. Maybe I could do two. Thank you, Trinity, for letting me do them all, never limiting my options, spring, winter, or fall. Tonight has been awesome, recalling the past. These 47 years have gone by too fast. Keep going, Trinity. Let's always hear chants from teammates and fans, all screaming, Go Bantams.